Hello, I'm Vivek Masing on behalf of ACIK. Today, I'm going to show you a small tutorial on how to change your shipping charges and how to allow shipping to certain places and not to certain places depending on the customer's address. So, I'll go under Orders and Fulfillment, drop down and click on Shipping Charges option. While being here, you can see there are shipping type drop down and an input box beside it. Now there are three options when I click on this drop down. First shipping type is free shipping, second is fixed charges, and third is by weight and distance. Now first one is pretty obvious that all the shipping that you would do as a seller to customers, it would be free regardless of the address the customer is at. If you have such a policy, then you can go ahead and select free shipping and save. Now, if you charge your customers a fixed charge, it doesn't depend on the customer's address. It will, regardless of the address, charge this particular amount that is on the right hand side. If you have such a policy, you can go ahead and define your shipping rate here and click on save. Now, coming to the third one, which will be by weight and distance. Once you click on it, you will see you get a warehouse drop down. You can go ahead and select any warehouse you'd like. As of now, I have one, so I'll let that be the default option. As you can see, when I click on by weight and distance, it gives me a default list of some locations that are there, and it mostly, from the looks of it, is Indian locations. So the country is India and all the states. Now if you see, against each of these country and state rows, there is a charge per kg. Now depending on the weight, length, height and width, so let's say for Chandigarh you would like to charge 40 rupees, but for Andhra Pradesh you would only like to charge 20 rupees. Now depending on the customer's address, if they are placing their order from Chandigarh, it will cost them 40 rupees per kg, but if they are from Andhra Pradesh, then it will only cost 20. Now if you would like to disable this for a moment, you can go ahead and mark it as inactive. Doing so will actually not allow this country and state to be shipped to. I'll go ahead and mark it as active and save. Now let's say from this list you want to add something else that is not present here. The first row here defines a default rule: all other locations. So let's say you have defined some set of locations here, let's say Indian states here, and you have defined some rates. Now if the location is not in one of those lists, then the default rule will be applied and the default charge will be charged for their shipping location. As you can see, default rule for all other locations is 10 rupees per kg, and for all the other locations it is going to use default rules, but for the locations you have defined, it will charge the charge you had defined for that location. Now let's say that one of the locations here are not there and you would like to define a charge for it. So how do you add one? So if you see on the top here, there's a button, add serviceable locations. You would click on it. Doing so redirects you to this serviceable locations page. As you can see, I have a list of all the locations that I was seeing on the shipping charge page for by weight and distance type. Now you can see against each country and state entry here there is a status, if we support it or not support it. So you can disable the location from here also. if you like this location to be gone forever from this serviceable locations entry, you can go ahead and click on the delete button also. But if you would like to make this disappear for temporary time, you can go ahead and not support it instead of removing it permanently using this button. Now let's say, as we had our requirement that we want to add a new location that is not present in this current list. To do so, we'll go ahead and click on this add new location button. As you do that, you see the first row becomes a country drop down. Now from this, you'll go ahead and select one of the countries that are there that you would like to ship to and have the shipping charge defined for. So I have all the Indian states, so I would go ahead and add USA. I'll go ahead and select USA, and the state is an input box, so you need to go ahead and type it out. So for now, I will go ahead and type Texas, for example. So I would like to add a new serviceable location that is USA, state Texas, and I support it. Now you can click validate and save once you're satisfied with all the entries, and you can go to the shipping charges page, and you can see, if I scroll to the bottom, you can see my latest entry was added, United States of America, Texas, and I can now edit a charge for this. So for now I'll add 500 rupees and I'll save this. Now this was the way that you can go ahead and add your serviceable locations. Now let's say by mistake you have deleted quite a few of these Indian states. Now you can go ahead and click on add Indian states. As soon as you click on this button, it will add all the Indian states that are there as of writing, and if there are any missing Indian states from this list, it will go ahead and add that. So that is for adding Indian states by default. But if there is any other locations, you use the add new location and you save it. As soon as you have added your serviceable location, you go ahead and go to your shipping charges, and if you are shipping by weight and distance, you can go ahead and define the shipping charge for that particular serviceable location, and you can click on save. What we have essentially learned is how do we assign shipping charges. There are three types of them: free, fixed, and by weight and distance. We learned how to assign a fixed charge, and for by weight and distance we learned how to go ahead and define a charge for a serviceable location and create a serviceable location if it's not present in our list, and how we enable and disable them. Doing so, you can control how you charge your customer based on their shipping address location. Thank you.